Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the victory. Before we get started, just to let all the media who are here joining us, we've now been joined by Jeff Andrews, who is the Executive Vice President and General Manager at Hendrick Motorsports. Jeff, so thank you again. Congratulations. It has been an exciting couple of weeks to be a part of Hendrick Motorsports. What does it mean for Kyle to take home the victory today in Sonoma, especially after all the celebration last week as well?
Yeah, well, certainly every one of them are just as special. And obviously last weekend was huge for our company and the history and the heritage of our company. And we're obviously very proud to do that for Mr. Hendrick in our backyard. But, now we come out here to Sonoma and we get one for Kyle in his backyard. So just, cannot say enough about this amazing race team right now and what Hendrick Motorsports has going on, and all the men and women back in Charlotte putting these amazing race cars on track right now. That all the credit, goes to them. And we're enjoying the ride, but we surely know that there's a lot of work left to do. And we need this kind of momentum and speed coming up in October and November. So we're working hard to maintain where we're at, and we'll celebrate today and then get out of here and start back to work next week on Texas and Nashville.
All right, and we're now going to go to questions. A friendly reminder, if you have a question, just raise your hand within the Zoom platform or send us a note in the chat. And to kick us off, we're going to start with Jim Utter. Jim, go ahead with your questions.
Congratulations, Jeff.
Hey, Jim. Thank you.
You guys have won the last 4 races, but you've also had 2 of your guys finish 1 and 2 in those last 4 races, and they've been on very different tracks, Dover, 2 road courses now, and Charlotte Motor Speedway. Can you just talk a little bit about not only, having a team running on all cylinders, but your guys basically covering the field in many different types of tracks that you see in the series?
Yeah, I think, Jim, one of the things that I think means the most to us, what's going on right now, is the consistency that we have across the organization, and the way we've been able to, put that across 4 race teams and get that performance on a weekly basis. And then obviously, as you mentioned, across many different track types and aero configurations and engine power configurations. And so that's something, for us that we've worked on a long time at Hendrick Motorsports. And we've had certainly years of great success with the 24 and the 48 and Jimmy and all these things. But I think for the company, internally in the company, and I know to Mr. Hendrick, one of the things that means the most is just that consistency across the company and the way all 4 race teams are working together right now. I think that's the key for us at this moment.
And a quick follow-up. Right now, would you look at your group of guys and say there was any place on the schedule where one of them couldn't possibly win the race?
I think, Jim, coming here, this was one that we just the Gibbs cars are really good here and have a great history of running well at this track. And we did not have I don't want to say confidence coming in here, but we knew we would have our hands full with those cars. So certainly coming out here, this was one we had on our plate. I think Texas is another one for us next weekend. Anxious to get there and run the All-Star race. Certainly got some new venues coming up in Nashville and some unknowns, really for everyone there. So, I think you just, you take your philosophies and obviously some great race cars being put on the racetrack right now by Hendrick Motorsports. And we'll take them 1 week at a time here and start to build our arsenal and get ready for the playoffs here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, our next question will come from Bob Pockris. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, I'm curious, maybe 5 weeks ago, everybody thought Hamlin would win the regular season title, but now with these wins, Kyle's really closed the gap. Is that something that you're going to start looking at, and how important would it be to win it and get the extra bonus points?
Well, obviously, I think you saw, Cliff make some calls today on bonus points and playoff points and the way he called the race. And, certainly that regular season championship, has an incentive there to go get. we've got a long ways to go, and it's, until we get to the start of the playoffs and obviously well into the playoffs. So I don't think for us that we've necessarily have our eyes on that right now. We're just trying to keep building on the consistency that we have right now and making sure that we're keeping a focus and keeping urgency in our shop and continuing to make our race cars better. That's the biggest thing right now. But certainly if that works out for us, we'd love to have that, because that's obviously a huge boost going into the playoffs.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question will come from Kelly Crandall. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thank you. Jeff, you said it there about it's going to be important what happens in September and October. So how do you keep the company from becoming complacent with all this success and looking like, again, you can show up every weekend and perform so well?
Yeah, it's that's our main focus right now, Kelly, for sure, is to make sure that we keep our heads down. Certainly you have great weekends like we had last weekend, where you need as a company to take a little bit of time with your folks after Dover and get together and take a picture and celebrate a little bit. It's been so hard in this environment that we've all been living in the last year. It's there really probably hasn't been enough celebration, enough rewards going on for the folks. So we need to take a little bit of time and soak all this in and make sure the folks are celebrating a little bit, enjoying it. But we've got to keep working, because others, I promise you, are working very, very hard right now. And our folks are as well. I'm not saying that we're not, but we've got to keep that focus going forward here. And we obviously need to be and want to be running like this, when we get later on in the season and start advancing through the playoffs. So.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Jerry Jordan. Go ahead, Jerry.
Hey, just curious, there was a time when Hendrick did not, y'all didn't perform well a few years ago, and you kind of in a rebuilding. What kind of a message is this to the rest of the field that, hey, you've got a very young team that is doing phenomenal right now? How far does this carry forward?
Well, I'm correct. And, there's some young people. It's interesting, because there's some young people, obviously at the front of it. Obviously, there's some very young guys in the driver's seats. You take, people like, Cliff Daniels, who really have come up through our company, and you put those folks in key positions, and that's great to see. And obviously very rewarding and gives you some good confidence, about your future as well. So I think, as I started to say, there's some great youth up front, but there's also a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge and depth, folks behind the scenes that are working really hard to get these great race cars to the track. So it's a really good balance right now. Certainly Mr. Hendrick and Jeff Gordon do an amazing job of finding the talent to put in our race cars and let us come out here and compete like this on Sundays. And then we've got a great group of crew chiefs who are working together really good right now to bring that consistency, across the company. So.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Chase McCabe. Go ahead, Chase.
Obviously you knew that Kyle was a talented driver when you brought him in, but did you expect it to all come together as quickly as it has? I mean, not even halfway, and already 3 wins, could be even more. Yeah,
I think certainly you hope for things to work like this. I think the thing for that race team and Cliff Daniels and that group of guys, we started putting that, together a little over a year ago this time. And, I think Kyle, obviously, we're extremely fortunate to have him behind the wheel of our race cars. Obviously, a tremendous talent. But I think, Cliff gets a lot of that credit as well for what he's been putting together and what he's been working on as a race team. Because I think sometimes we feel like those things take a little bit more time, is to get the depth in that race team like he has than certainly Kyle hopped into some great race cars there. And I think when you get those two combinations working together, you start to get the results very quickly that we are.
Okay, next question is going to come from Jeff with Empire Sports. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations on another win. It's turned Mr. H into a bit of a nervous wreck at times, but how great does it make you feel that not only are your cars racing at the front, but they race each other so respectively without incident?
Yeah, I think obviously in the closing laps, again here today, we saw our guys, side by side, nose to tail, racing hard for the lead. And I know there's a great deal of pride that Mr. Hendrick has when he sees that. Yeah, he does get nervous like all of us when you get in a situation with those late race restarts. And Chase and Alan, had a great car there in the closing laps, and it's great to see. But as you're texting back and forth with him, and he's watching it, you can tell that he's very nervous about how close they're running together. But it is also very important for them to race each other with the integrity that they do. So hats off to both of those guys, both great race car drivers, and put on a great show today.
Appreciate your time and insight. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, our next question will come from Lee Spencer. Go ahead, Lee.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us, Jeff. And I apologize, I was transcribing, so if this question has been asked, but did you expect Kyle to blossom as quickly as he has at Hendrick Motorsports?
I think, Lee, obviously, we knew that a ton of talent there in Kyle Larson. Really whatever he gets behind, he has the ability to adapt and go out and win in that. And, again, for us, I think the pressure really was on us to make sure that, as he came into our organization, that Cliff and his race team got him up to speed quickly. And I think you saw a great blend there, great chemistry that happened very quickly that are leading to the results that race team is getting right now.
And people ask, what else has been the difference? And obviously another clear change is the role that Chad has taken on. How have you seen that, because you were trying to juggle so much before he was put in that position. How have you seen that kind of smooth things out at Hendrick?
Well, I think obviously Chad Knaus is a great asset to any organization, whatever position that he works in. And when you take someone of his depth and his experience in racing, I think I talked a few minutes ago about the youth on the front side of our company, and then in the backside you have key guys that have done so much in this sport and so knowledgeable about a race car that's come back into our race shops and started working closely with our race teams and our crew chiefs and our guys into the shop. And doing a tremendous job. I mean, I can't say enough about the role that Chad's taken on and what he's been doing. And without question, it's contributed to our success so far this year, for sure.
Appreciate your time, Jeff. Safe travels.
Thanks, Lee.
All right, Jeff, we appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the victory.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.